Long bamboo is first described in the literature as short bamboo around 1868, but we've changed its name to Ontake warm bamboo because that describes what it does much better. Warm bamboo is a moxibustion instrument from Japan. In addition to moxibustion, it uses two other components, the rhythmic application of pressure on the skin and the application of Dr. Manika's meridian frequencies. The meridian frequencies are based on research from Dr. Manika, one of the great 20th century Japanese acupuncturists. He developed his own therapy called Dr. Manika's wooden needle and hammer, and he tapped percussively along the meridians at specific frequencies of beats per minute. He discovered that meridians responded to these frequencies, and if you could get the frequency just right, you could get a big release along the soft tissues and the reflex points. Bamboo is a very versatile tool. It's got different surfaces that you can use. You can use the hot surface directly, you can use the lip, or you can use the side. And the side gets very warm. So I'm now going to introduce you to a technique called knocking. You simply place the bamboo on the skin and knock rhythmically. Keep moving it along so it doesn't get too hot. And if you want to use more force, you can use the knuckles. One on from knocking is called SuperKnocking because it's much stronger. This time we hold the bamboo in our palm, face down, and we just knock. You'll see the action is very loose coming from the wrist. It's not very hard, but it's supple. And we use this on areas like the calf, the trapezius muscle, or the thighs, where there's lots of loose or soft tissue. You can't use this technique on the bone. So tapping is the most easy technique. You simply tap lightly with the bamboo in time to the beat. If the muscles are very loose, then tap lightly, but if the muscles are more jitsu, more strong, then you can tap more forcefully. This technique is called touching and closing. We use it for very deficient and weak areas, for cold areas, flaccid, weak skin. It's the equivalent to an acupuncturist closing the hole after removing the needle. And the action is a little bit like grating cheese. So it's a rhythmic closure. The left hand is sliding down the edge of the bamboo and closing the hole and sealing the heat in. Anyone who's spent time in the kitchen will be familiar with this technique from rolling bread. So this is to treat a very broad area, and you're simply rolling in time to the metronome over the muscles. It's a very comforting and soothing technique. If you are working on kyo areas, just use the front part of your fingers, so you're using a very light pressure. And if you're using more on jitsu areas, you can use your palm and press harder. It's the simplest of bamboo techniques to use because we simply stand the bamboo on the point or on the meridian that we want to treat. But because we're using a metronome, we're going to be moving the bamboo along every few beats, maybe every 4 beats or maybe every 8 beats. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you've had rolling, now we've got rocking. This is a more dynamic version of standing. With standing, we just put the bamboo on the skin and moved it along. But with rocking, we're actually imparting some movement to the bamboo. So a bit like stirring a cup of tea, we're stirring the bamboo, it's creating a little circle in a rhythmic circle. So if I get the metronome going, you'll see what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This technique is called pressing. It's the equivalent of a masseur using their thumb or using their elbow on deep tissue. But instead we're going to use the lip of the bamboo, and in a variation I'll show you we can also use the side. So we're going to press rhythmically with the bamboo, just using my finger to brace the bamboo against the skin, and just press rhythmically. This technique is really good for those tight intrascapular areas, suprascapular, or around any joint like the elbow or around the back of the neck. So you can press. But there's a variation of it where you use the side of the bamboo, and that's simply pressing with the side rhythmically. This technique is called leaning. Basically, we're going to lean our body weight down through the bamboo into the tissue. So it's very good for those really tight, stuck muscles around the glutes, the thigh, the lumbar area. You can really lean your body weight in. So we're going to do this with the metronome. Lay the bamboo on its side. Put one hand on top, another hand on top of that one, and press down. Relax with your weight. This last technique is a vibrating technique. So you're vibrating your hand in time to the metronome. It's very good for loosening up tight muscles in the shoulders and in the lumbar. So what we want to do is vibrate double time. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to an iPhone app called Tempo by Frozen Ape. It's a professional metronome app used by musicians worldwide. It's very accurate, it's very easy to use, and the beauty of it is that you can set a playlist. I've got one here called Channels, which gives me all the channel frequencies in one setting, so I can jump from one to the other. So I can start off at 176 beats per minute. I can go down to 152 Sanjiao frequency, stomach frequency, lung and heart, gallbladder, small intestine, kidney, bladder, large intestine, liver, and conception vessel and dumai. So I can jump from one channel to the other very easily without having to manually scroll to the frequency. I've got them preset. So it's a very useful app to have in the clinic. So I'm going to use this wooden hammer and needle to just clean up the bamboo. So now we're going to load up the bamboo with some moxa. So you want to just compress the moxa in with your fingers, push it in from both ends. So it's not filled up enough yet, I'll add some more. You want to go to about 1/8 to 1/2 inch from the edge on each side. And then, once it's loaded, you want to compress the moxa using a baton, just a simple piece of doweling. And finally, once you've compressed it, you want to check that the moxa plug is firmly in the bamboo. So if you just apply pressure with each finger in either direction, make sure it doesn't move too much, that's fine. If you can move the plug with your finger, it's too loose. You need to pack it stronger. We use a jet lighter for lighting the bamboo, which means that you get long flames coming out of the jet lighter. So it's not a good idea to hold the bamboo in your hand. That's a recipe for an accident. So instead, what we're going to do is just leave it on a surface and then light it. And then give it a blow.